All right, welcome back. So last time we covered sort of the philosophy and the theoretical aspects of this layered grammar of graphics. So ggplot, which is the package right here to make graphs, the G and G stand for a grammar of graphics. And the grammar being a set of rules for us to display information in an organized way. And the reason why the word layered comes in is because we want to think about the idea that the code that we write has to be evaluated in order so that code that is evaluated later has the power to, hopefully it doesn't, but has the power to overwrite code that happened above. So if you have a line of code here that is going to paint a tree on your canvas, but a line of here that says paint a house over where the tree is, even though you have code that creates the tree, the house would hide it and would overwrite it. So we need to understand that there is a layering to what we do and the order matters. And we'll talk later, maybe in this video, maybe in the next one, about how we can organize our ggplot code to minimize the chance that we overwrite some important components of our figures. Now, before we move on, we want to take a little side journey and talk about loading an R package. Now, last time we said that a package for R is kind of like an add-in for Microsoft Outlook or something else. And we used the install.packages command. So that's, we see right here, install.packages. And we use this command to go out to the internet and grab there was a package called knitter, K-N-I-T-R, and we grabbed it from the internet and we put it on our computer. There was another package, and that was to install the tidyverse. Now, the exercise here is I want you to go through the help files for the install.packages function and see if you can find how would you load this library? So we've got it downloaded from the internet. We put it on our computer. How do we turn it on so that we can use it? So take a few minutes and see if you can find out. All right. So hopefully most of you were able to look in the help file for install.packages, and you should have found a function called library. And this would be all the way down at the bottom. So this is the bottom of the install.packages code. The install.packages help file, there's a function called library. And this allows us to load or attach a package. And the way it works is we type the command library, open parentheses, and then the package name. So we're going to load the tidyverse library, and I'm going to type tidyverse. Okay. And when I run this, I should see some nice multicolor output here. So we see here that there are some core tidyverse packages, all right? And in previous years when I've taught this, there were only 8 packages. We've got 9 packages now. Lubridate is new. Lubridate did not used to be in the tidyverse, but now it is. We're not going to be covering Lubridate much this semester, but the packages that we get out of the tidyverse, we get ggplot2, tibble, tidyr, readr, per, dplyr, stringer, and forcats. We're going to go through basically all of these except for forcats. And that one, it's helpful, but it's not what I want to spend a whole lot of time on this semester. But there's basically about a chapter for each of these packages within the tidyverse. So if you want to learn more about these packages, each one has their own website. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to learn more about the readr package. You would search R package, if I could spell, R package readr. And then this one right here, the tidyverse readr package. This is an entire website dedicated to helping you learn this particular package. Now, we will have part of a lesson that deals with the readr package, but I wanted you to be aware of the fact that every single one of these packages, even this new one, Lubridate, that's not in my notes, has a website dedicated to it so that you can go learn more. There's so much more documentation on the internet than what I can cover in a single semester, but I wanted you to be aware of that. So this is how you load a package. So we use the install.packages command to go out and get the package from the internet and bring it to our computer. And when we installed the packages, we had to use quotes. So we had to do something like this: install dot packages and then quote tidyverse. So this has to be in quotes. And I'm going to comment this out because I don't want to actually run it. But when I load it, I don't have to put the name of the package in quotes. Okay, I can if I want to, but I don't have to. It's not required. All right. So now that I've gotten the now that I've got this package loaded and I've talked to you a little bit about it, we're going to, for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to be spending a whole bunch of time working with ggplot2, and that is to make graphs. So we will build just like we built our very first Quarto document previously. We had our very first line of code on the first day of class. We said hello, and we had the computer tell us hello. We're going to make a very first ggplot. In order to do this, however, we need some data. And the data need to be in a specific form. It needs to look a little bit like an Excel spreadsheet, okay? Now, in R, data that looks like this are usually called either data frames or tibbles. For most of the course of this semester, I will use those two terms interchangeably. When I first learned R, there was just data frames, and so it's kind of ingrained in me to call them data frames. Tibbles are a modern data frame, so whenever you search for help, you should probably be searching for tibbles, and that's Tibble for tibble. So anyway, I want to take a look at this data. Now, this data set comes for free in R. Well, I think it comes for free in the tidyverse package. So once we've loaded the tidyverse package, we'll get MPG, we get this data set, and we see this information right here. And we see that it is a Tibble, Tibble. There are 234 rows. There are 11 columns. And these different columns have all sorts of different information. So this is a character string. Here's another character string. This DBL just means that it's got a decimal place. This INT means that it's an integer. So this is also an integer, and so forth and so on. And it shows as a preview the first 10 rows of this data set. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now, what we want to do, and here's a tip for you. Throughout this lesson, we'll be working through ggplot, but please go online and read some of the truly amazing ggplot tutorials that are available. This is a good tutorial, but there is an entire, let's see, where does this one go? I think this one's more of a cookbook for how to use stuff in ggplot. Yeah, this is a basic guide, and it goes through like, okay, if I have one variable, if I have two continuous variables, like what are different things that I can do to add more stuff. So very, very helpful. There's also, we can go back here and just say, okay, R package ggplot2, and we'll get the website for ggplot2 with tons and tons of help here. So please the internet is in this case, the internet is your friend. Go get help from all sorts of places, okay? So we want to build a ggplot, and the thing is, for whatever reason, I'm gonna go down to this point right here. Data science is the intersection of statistics, computing, and domain knowledge. So the MPG data set is all about cars. And so we have this hypothesis, because we know a little bit about cars, that maybe cars with larger displacement, i.e. they're bigger, the engine displacement, i.e. they're bigger engines, they probably don't have as good of fuel economy, like highway fuel economy. So we want to ask the question, well, is there a relationship between the displacement of the engine, i.e. the size of the engine, how big it is, and how fuel efficient the car is? So that's what we would do. And our very first ggplot is going to be this. I don't expect you to understand what these three lines are doing just yet. We're going to go through them in detail in the next video. But for now, let's run this. So I'm going to type it. I'm going to say ggplot data equals mpg, and then I add a plus sign, And I'm going to say my aesthetics mappings are x equals, let me go back and find out what I put on the x-axis. So the engine weight is on the engine displacement is on the x-axis. So DISPL, and y is equal to the highway miles per gallon, so HWY. And I want to add a little bit more, and I want the geom point. So geom point. And we run this. And now I get this plot over here. Now, in the next video, we're going to learn all about what this code does, and also we're going to put it up into, we're going to take it out of the console because it's not helpful for us to have it down here. So, as I said, we've talked about loading a package. We've talked about how we would map data and so forth, and how we would get help on this package. And now we're going to go through this component, this figure piece by piece. All right, see you soon.